The purpose of this video is to demonstrate that adopting a tool without sufficient time to reflect on the commitments required and the necessary mindset shifts that are involved in a more comprehensive culture transformation process is likely to be at best temporarily interesting, but unfortunately also forgettable.
I say, I commit to you, I won't say anything bad about you behind your back. And if I have an issue with you, I'll come to you with it. And I won't listen to anyone else say bad things about you. And if anyone complains to me about you, I'll direct them back to you.
A group of 52 leaders went through the review process, and they all did the mind trust with each other. It was an assignment, and they all actually wanted to do it, and they did it. So one day, a leader called me and said, I'm over 8 of those leaders. I'm part of this group of 8 of us, and we're having a lot of interpersonal problems. And I'd like to hire you to come in and spend some time with us working on our relationships. And I said, okay, I'm going to be talking to your CFO on Friday. I'll find out if there's budget and all of that. And so when I called the CFO, she said, oh, they definitely need help. 2 of their people came to me to tell me that the leader of that group was saying bad things about me in the meeting. And I said to her, so did you ask them if they tried to stop him when he was doing that? Because, that's one of the steps of the mind trust. And she goes, no. And I said, did you ask them if they went to him because they were upset with him for doing that? And she said, no. And I said, did you go directly to that leader once you knew that this was a problem? And she goes, no, I went to his boss and I tattled on him, and his boss was at the meeting and he didn't stop him either. And he has a mind trust with me. So she, in that moment, said, what is wrong with us? Because out of 10 leaders, 5 of them were engaged in all of this, and they didn't even remember the mind trust, and maybe even the other 5, because it doesn't sound like anybody stopped him. So it's just important to know that this is kind of a way to establish the reasoning for why it's important to have an immersive process. And the reason I have a picture of a tennis racket is that if I gave you all a tennis racket, but you never saw the tennis match, you never sat down and worked with a coach on your techniques, you never got out on a court, you're not going to fall in love with tennis. You're not even going to be able to play tennis. And it's not going to be a very useful tool to you. Do you guys see why this is important at this point in this conversation with a client? Because we're asking them to put 4 to 5 hours a month into this whole process.
The difference between a leader review process and an immersive process is that in a review process, participants are taught passively once about all the concepts and tools in the Lifework system's year-long culture transformation process. They are not in an immersive process that includes watching and interacting with an individual online training module, filling out a workbook and post-training reflective survey, participating in a monthly small group review, taking a turn leading one, participating in monthly one-on-one reverse or peer mentoring. A review is a shiny new tennis racket, likely stuck in the closet. An immersive process is learning how to play, becoming skilled, and hopefully falling in love with tennis.